What's up, everybody? This is Mia Hall TV. I'm here with another episode of Brown Girls Glow Live. Yes, you know how to come on here every week and teach girls how to grow, lead, overcome, and win. All right? That is what we're doing with my new book, Glow Girl, which is now available at miahalltv.com. So I'm going to welcome a few people in. We are live on Instagram, but I'm also going to post this on YouTube. So I look forward to sharing my story. What's up, Frank? All right, so I just wanted to come on here really quickly and give a quick story time, right? A lot of people, are sharing their stories. I, of course, use Glow Girl to share real life stories, but principles that anyone can apply to their life. So real life stories from my life, but principles that anybody can apply to their life, right? So the principle really, there's a few things that I learned from, having Nike to fly me out to Portland, then to Martha's Vineyard, right? And that is your network is really your net worth. And truly, you have to make your network work for you, right? And it's not like making like that, but utilizing your network to make it work for you. So quick story time on really, as a journalist, how Nike came to call me and make a request, which was actually, it was just a really out of the blue story. I'll say one thing too, another principle. You don't have to pursue what you can attract by becoming the woman or man of God wants you to become, right? You don't have to pursue what you can attract by just becoming the person that you were meant to be, right? Hey, Glee. And what's up, Janae? So at this time, I was actually looking for a new job. And am I back? I hope everybody can see me. But I was looking for a new job at the time, right? And I knew I was because this was 2017. And I was in between deciding whether I was going to move to Los Angeles or if I was going to stay in New York and work in media. So at the time, I went to the National Association of Black Journalists conference that that year was being held in New Orleans. And so I was at the conference. I was literally at the job fair at NABJ 2017. So I'm at that job fair, but I get a call. From a friend at Nike at the time, right? How did I meet him? Now, this is another principle because I used to go to networking events. I went to a networking event. I talked about what I did, shared that I was a journalist, but I also shared it on social media. But I don't think that this person was following me on social media. I think that it was purely, but they could have been, because who knows these days, or who knows back then, because now that was 8 years ago. But I had met them at an event. They worked with Nike, and I was like, of course, if I could ever do anything for you, let me know. So they literally, had called me on this day while I was at this job fair and was like, hey, how's it going? And I was like, I'm well, I didn't even say that maybe I did say that I was at a job fair, but either way, they were like, okay, well, I have this project, right? You have to be a problem solver. I will say that one thing as well. Be a problem solver and people will call on you or continue to call on you. So they were like, hey, we really want to have this event covered. I know that you're a journalist and I wanted to call you to see if you would be willing to cover this event. So Nike and the University of Oregon and there's a hospital, a children's hospital out there. They had this amazing project that they were doing. They had 3 of the patients that were going through this hospital Of course, the children's patients, unfortunately, we're going through like surgeries and things like that. But thankfully, all of the children, by the time I got to see them, were healthy and weren't, they were out of the hospital. I mean, of course, but they were out of the hospital and I believe didn't have to go back. But they were looking for a journalist to cover this event, and they were looking for an outlet to cover it. So, he was like, do you think that, this is something that you'd be interested out in? I was like, sure. And so he gave me the date of the event, and I was like, ooh. This was a time that actually conflicted with the time that my friends and I had planned to go to Martha's Vineyard that year. Now, every year, my friends and I, we, make sure, our crew is called 50 Summers. We make sure that, we, no matter what's going on, we try to really take the time to see each other, take the time to take a step back from all of our work, from everything that we have to do, all the responsibilities. People got kids now. Two of us, not like me, of course, but two people have children now. So, everybody just tries to pick a time we can all meet up at least once a year, at least this time. So, so that was during that time, and I was like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to go. I would love to do it. And I think that I have an outlet that can do it. But, I would have to be flown, you know what I mean? Like from Portland to, oh, it's okay, Galik. We'll see you next time. And the replay will be available on youtube.com/@MiaHallTV. So yes, I told them that I had to go to Martha's Vineyard. So they were like, well, let me, if you can get the outlet, then, then I'll try to work out the travel arrangements. And so I called on Ben Osborne. Shout out to and salute to Ben Osborne, who was the editor, I believe he was the editor-in-chief at Bleacher Report. And it was online, so I'm not sure if, the title meant something different. But either way, I had written for Ben for years at Slam Magazine. And when he went to Bleacher Report, of course, we still stayed in touch. And he, I don't even think I wrote a story for Bleacher Report before that. But, but he knew my writing from the years that I wrote for Slam. And because I wrote for Slam since probably at least 2012. And yeah, I had been writing for Slam, for however long, he was there. And so, I was like, hey, Nike wants to do the story. There's an event in Oregon. Do you think I could do it for Bleacher Report? And he was like, I don't even think he had to, make a lot of calls, but, he definitely got it through the approval process, whatever that was. And he was like, yes, would love for you to cover it. Sure. So I got the approval from that, and I told my friend at Nike, and then he was like, okay, let's do it. And Bleacher Report, of course, was going to pay me for writing the article. So Nike, booked my ticket to be able to go to Portland, across the country to Portland. That was my first time at PDX, first time in Portland. And they, put me up in a nice hotel. And I just went in for one night. I went to cover the event. And they, covered everything. And, but actually I had enough time to where I not only got to go to the event, but I got to go to the Nike offices. So, you'll see a picture, with the woman Carrie that I was actually also able to meet at the High School of Sports Management, that I met her, while I was in Portland as well. So the events were far apart from each other, and she had nothing to do with the other person that I knew at Nike that had, brought me on to cover this event. So, yeah, it was just honestly being able to work at the High School of Sports Management. I was able to meet Ben, who connected me with Bleacher Report to be able to do the report. And then I was able to meet with Carrie, who also allowed me to use her Nike access as well to be able to go to the Nike store. Now, did I get a pair of Nike sneakers from the outlet out there? No, I didn't see a pair that I really liked, honestly. So I was just like, but for a little while, I was like, well, why didn't I just get some so that, I can, in my head, have gotten Nikes from the, from the Nike outlet in Portland, where the headquarters are, but that's neither here nor there now. But I haven't been back since, so Nike, you know, hey, I'm available, you know, call me, you want me to come back. But yeah, so I went out there and was able to cover that event. I did a story. Maybe I can find it and share the link in the YouTube caption that I'm going to put this video on under when I post it to YouTube. So it should be in the caption below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Instagram, I will place it in my stories. But yes, I was able to cover this great collaboration, and I'm a community relations woman at heart. So any stories that are involving students or children, and it's really using the power of a celebrity brand or using the power of a big brand and leveraging it to make an impact on the community. Love those kinds of events. So that's what I did. And after I did that, like I said, I met up with 2 friends out there. And then, you know, from there, I was able to go and meet my friends in Martha's Vineyard. So that is a lesson in continuing to also uphold traditions, uphold celebrations, right? Because you never know. Like, don't be afraid to ask, like, hey, you know, I actually, you know, want to, you know, go to a specific location. Some people might be afraid to do that, but I would say, you know, don't be afraid, because you never know. People just might say yes. So yes, that was why Nike flew me out to Portland to cover one of their events and put it on Bleacher Report. And so it's been a great journey as a journalist, as a writer. And so if you would like to hear other stories of my writing journey from, I started out as writing for the high school that I was working for, writing for their blog, right? So I just started out on the internet, just writing for, you know, the school where I was blog. But I knew in my head since college I wanted to be a VJ, but, you know, I knew I wanted to get in media. So, and then, you know, from the blog, was able to write for Black Enterprise First. Shout out to Mr. Edmond. Was able to write, you know, for Slam, because I met Ben at the High School of Sports Management as well. And yeah, so I was able to, and then from there, ESPNW, because of Adina Andrews. Shout out to Adina. And where else? NBC, of course, where I worked from 2016 to 2017. And yeah, and I'm sure, you know, some other outlets that I'm not remembering right now, but those were my main outlets that I wrote for. So I want to just say, you know, just keep on working, keep on creating. And of course, your work will speak for itself and your network will speak for you. All right. So until next time, y'all stay blessed. Remember, you don't have to pursue what you can attract. All right. Anything that you learn, please put it in the comments, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.